Smith delivers, and Donovan pops it up in the infield. And calling it for it is the shortstop, Trosclair, over towards the third base side. Makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So Donovan out. As Cassandra Moeller will come to the plate. The senior DP hitting .245, 6 homers, 19 RBIs. A different role this year for Moeller. Was mainly used as a top pinch hitter the last couple of years, but this year a full-time starter.
Yeah, she does a great job. She has a ton of power. Leads USF with slugging percentage.
And the first pitch is low for a ball. 1-0 the count. Wyckoff at first with one out here in the bottom of the first. Moeller, left-handed hitter. And Smith fires an bunt attempt, and it's a good one. The play is to first. It's in time, and meanwhile, Wyckoff going to third to throw is safe. As Wyckoff beats it out. How about the base running from Wyckoff going all the way from first to third on the bunt by Moeller? As Parker, the third baseman, was coming in, made the throw to first, Allison, but Wyckoff heads up.
Yeah, absolutely. You see her drop that bunt, and you see the shortstop run over to second. Nobody's covering third, and she did not hesitate, and she just rounded that base and had an easy time into third base.
Where is that on the shortstop? Is the shortstop there, Trosclair, supposed to be at third base? Is that one of those things where everybody's focusing on the ball and not on the sign? As right now the umpires are having the discussion, and they're going to appeal to see if Wyckoff was out, but she was not. That is the call, so she's runner, it's safe there. Now Memphis' players are meeting in the circle during that as Natalie Poole came out. So you got a runner at third and 2 outs, but you always have to have somebody there covering third, whether it be maybe the catcher even.
Absolutely. It looks like there was a little bit of miscommunication on Memphis' part because, as you saw, the shortstop went over to second, third baseman fielded the ball, and there was base was left wide open. Catcher should have maybe ran down to third base.
So a runner at third and 2 outs. And Sam Worrell at the plate takes a strike. Sam, the sophomore, hitting .252 on the season with 6 homers and 25 RBIs. She leads the team in RBIs with 25, tied for the team lead in home runs. She hits here with Wyckoff at third and 2 outs. And that's a high pop-up, foul territory. Memphis, Trosclair diving and making the catch. A great play by the junior shortstop, Kyler Trosclair, and ends the inning. We're through 1 inning complete here in Tampa. Still no score between the Bulls and the Tigers.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones. Not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Top of the second inning. No score between Memphis and USF here on the American Digital Network. Eric Lopez alongside Allison Kime. And Allison, I think we saw in that first inning how both teams vintage, aggressive in the base pads, trying to put pressure on both defenses. That's what Memphis and USF does, and I think it's kind of a sign of what to expect here the rest of the way. Absolutely.
You're going to see a lot of balls in play and a lot of stolen bases.
So now Cheyenne Eggins starting here her second inning. And the first pitch there is a strike, and the count is 0-1. The count. Lindsey Stickrod, the first baseman, leading it off here for the Memphis Tigers. .292 average, a homer and 18 RBIs. And Stickrod hits it to the right side, foul. It was Stickrod in the top of the 8th in last night's game that gave Memphis at the time a 3-2 lead with an RBI double. Unfortunately for Memphis, they couldn't hold the lead as USF got the 2 RBI hit by the freshman, Anna Marie Bruni. with 2 outs and 2 strikes in the bottom of the 8th to give USF the 4-3 win. And as a result, the Bulls are 6-6 in the conference. Memphis 4-6 in the conference coming into tonight's game. The pitch there to Stickrod is low for a ball. As a player, tell me the mindset. From a winning perspective, you've been on both sides of that. A heartbreaking loss, a dramatic win like that. Does that carry over to today?
Absolutely. Anytime you have a walk-off, fashion style hit, it really carries the momentum because it shows that your team is coming each and every day to play, regardless if they're down or up. They're going to battle for you, especially as a pitcher. They're going to battle for you day in and day out. So that's really, shows a lot about your team when they come from behind, especially in the bottom of the 8th.
The 2-2 pitch, Stickrod hits it to first, foul. From Memphis' perspective, how is it one of you just? As a softball player, you're accustomed to failure. The game of softball is in a lot of ways a game of failure. So is that one that you're accustomed? You have to just put it behind you, and it's all about a new day today, right?
Absolutely, you have to put it behind you, but it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt any less than it did yesterday. But you definitely want to come out and fight and win because you lost in the bottom of the 8th. Your team was ahead, and now with 2 outs, your team ends up losing the ball game for you. So I'm sure Memphis is out for blood today because they had the game in their hands.
And Natalie put, obviously, the message is, you've got to come out with emotion. You can't come out flat. You can't have a hangover.
Exactly.
That's the biggest key as a player, as that pitch is fouled down the first base side. And a good battle here going on between Stickrod and Cheyenne Eggins. Here in the top of the second, no score between Memphis and USF. Good bat. So Stickrod, with a 1 home run this year, swings away and hits a high fly ball to right field, but playable as it's caught by the right fielder there, Bruni. Speaking of which, the hero from last night, and that's a fly out for the first out here in the top of the second. So that'll bring up now Reagan Hadley, the catcher, sophomore, hitting .248, 2 homers and 17 RBIs. As she steps in here, the right-handed hitter, with no one on and 1 out. Cheyenne, first pitch, inside for a ball. We mentioned the conference record, USF 6-6. They lost a game earlier this year at Connecticut. Weather issues, shocking in Storrs, Connecticut in April. Not ideal, perfect weather all the time. As the 1-0 pitch, Hadley lines it to second, but it's caught by Devitt, the second baseman. 2 gone here in the second inning as Hadley is retired on the line out. That'll bring up now Aaron Parker, the freshman third baseman, hitting .229 on the season. But they lost a game that had weather. They only got 2 games in that series. They split USF and Connecticut. So that's why they're a game short as far as conference games played. As that's top there, foul down the third base side. Tulsa, which won earlier today, 6-0 up in Storrs, is on top at 10-1 in conference. And right now, they're in first place. Houston, which has won the first 2 games from East Carolina in Houston, they won today 6-4. They're now 7-4 in the conference. UCF, which is on a bye this weekend, 7-5 in conference. Those are your top 3 as the 0-1 is fouled off. USF currently sitting at 6-6. Memphis 4-6. So that's why this game, Allison, is big. It's a swing game in this series, and both teams want to move up in the conference standings, as we talked about with the conference tournament in Greenville just now 3 weeks away.
Absolutely. It's so important, each and every one of these games, so you can move your rankings up and get a better seed in the conference.
A strikeout there for Cheyenne Eggins as she works a 1-2-3 second inning. We're through an inning and a half here in Tampa. Still no score between Memphis and USF on the American Digital Network.
The University of South Florida is a regional powerhouse with global significance, leading advances that are changing the world. Now a leader among the nation's universities in research, healthcare, and just being cool. The place where young men and women train to become the best.
This is where the Bulls run.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Bottom of the second inning, Molly Smith getting her warm-ups in as we're getting set. Here at the bottom of the second, no score between the Tigers and the Bulls. Here in the American Conference, here on the American Digital Network. Our next American Digital Network broadcast will be Friday, May 5th from Tulsa. UCF and Tulsa will play. That's the final weekend of the regular season, Allison. You're quite familiar with that rivalry between UCF and Tulsa, both as a player, and you broadcasted last year's game. And Tulsa, you saw them up close with the Hollingsworth, the Withy sisters, and Emily Watson this year. The pitcher you saw last year has taken it to a different level right now in the front runner. UCF, a very young team, but still, it should be a big one. Could decide the conference title that series.
Absolutely. Tulsa is such a tough team. They were young last year, young this year, but especially as a pitcher, the more years you get on the mound, the better you are. And obviously with Watson, she's done such a great job.
Bethany King will lead it off. The freshman hitting .224 with 4 home runs and 23 RBIs. She'll be followed by Lauren Evans and Lindsay Devitt, 5-6-7 against Molly Smith. Here in the bottom of the second inning. Smith delivers and King fouls it back. You know, and we were talking about in the top half of the inning with the conference standings, Tulsa came into Tampa to open conference play and swept the Bulls. The Bulls, of course, the defending regular season champions. Tulsa won on the conference tournament title last year. They were the preseason pick this year, and Coach Bartfeld, just another tremendous job by him this year. But he has set the stage in the conference that both Memphis and USF are trying to chase. As the 0-2 pitch is up high. The one loss that Tulsa has this season was to Memphis. Memphis won that game. Christian Novak got the win, and that's, if you're Coach Molly Smith, that's the thing that's, if you know, a pitch here, a pitch there, you could be right in the hunt for the conference title, and that's the confidence boosters. You're capable. You beat Tulsa, so you know you can play with the best. As the 1-2, it's a swing and a miss as King goes down on strikes. And a strikeout for Molly Smith for the first out here in the second inning. And that, you know, you look at last night's game. Memphis is an out away from winning that game. I think back to their last conference series at against UCF in Memphis. They had the bases loaded and nobody out, down 2-0, couldn't score, lost that game. They had the bases loaded, down 10-6 in the last game of that series, and couldn't get over the hump there. And that's been the year. As Evans drops one in the right for a hit. As the ball is knocked down by the right fielder Maxwell, and it's a one-out single for Lauren Evans.
Yeah, she just does a great job really picking out her pitch, first pitch to jump on it and really drive that ball into the outfield.
So Evans gets on the single as Devitt will come to the plate.
Yeah, she takes the ball with the outside pitch and really drives it. Doesn't try to pull it, just really goes with the pitch, and nice solid hit. And
a nice job there by Maxwell to knock that ball down. If that ball gets into the fence, that's extra bases. So that was
Absolutely.
a good job knocking that ball down.
Absolutely.
Devitt, the right-handed hitter, will come up with one out, runner at first. She swings and fouls it off down the left side.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is, as an outfielder, is misplay a ball because you have nobody behind you. Like an infielder, you know, unfortunately you do have your outfielders behind you and you can, you know, make an error here or there, but as an outfielder, you have nobody behind you, and it's a long ways to that fence.
And a lot of outfielders, sometimes they'll make the mistake of trying to dive for it, thinking they can make the catch, and they miss it, and it goes all the way to the fence. Sometimes you're better off just kind of giving up the single.
Absolutely. In that case, you just want the leadoff single with no outs, because if there's, you know, no outs and you have a runner on third, you know, causes a little more havoc for Memphis than they'd like in the second inning.
Pitch was called a strike, and so Smith quickly ahead, 0-2 on Lindsay Devitt, the sophomore, with a runner at first and one out. Evans, not much of a threat from a stolen base standpoint this year, 2 for 3, as the 0-2 is outside for a ball. 1-2 the count. Looked like the pitch there that Smith just wanted to throw outside the strike zone to see if Devitt would chase one outside the strike zone, right?
Absolutely. As a pitcher, when you're ahead in the count, 0-2, the last thing you want to do is give a batter a hit while you're ahead in the count.
The 1-2 pitch is fouled off into foul territory and out of play.
You really want them to chase your pitch at that point. You're ahead. You have a couple balls to waste. You don't want to put it in the zone where they can get a hit and potentially beat you.
1-2 the count to Devitt with Evans at first. One out here in the bottom of the second. Molly Smith, the veteran junior. As the 1-2 pitch is popped up in the infield. Who's got it? It'll be the third baseman, Pat Cat, against the sun there. Making the catch is Aaron Parker for the second out of the inning.
Number 29.
Tricky there. It's a beautiful day in Tampa, but sometimes that could be a problem from an infielder standpoint, right? Because you're going up against the sun sometimes.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like how the field is played, that the sun wouldn't be in her eyes, but if you look now, the sun is in her eyes, and it's very difficult as a fielder to catch a fly ball when the sun's right in your eyes.
Also a bit of a shadow going on.
Even more difficult, too.
That's harder on the hitters, too, to pick up on pitches.
Yeah, when the ball goes in and out of the shade, it's definitely hard to pick up the ball because you're trying to track the spin. Is it going up? Is it going down? Is it going across the plate? Is it a screwball going into my hands?
Morgan Gross swings, hits a fly ball to left. It's playable. It's going in foul territory, and the catch is made by Harold to end the inning. So the Bulls threaten with a hit, but do not score. And at the end of 2 innings of play, here from Tampa, still no score between Memphis and USF here on the American Digital Network.
City known for doing things our way. There's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones. Not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Welcome back. Top of the third, no scorer between Memphis and USF. You see one of the Memphis assistant coaches, very familiar to college softball, of course. They have Ellen Renfro-Reed in her second season, pitching coach for Memphis. A former All-American at Tennessee, led him to the Women's College World Series. She was a Player of the Year finalist in college softball in 2014. Alice, you had a chance to talk to her earlier this week, adjusting to life as a player now into coaching.
Yeah, it's been a challenge for her, she said, because she knows how to be the best teammate. But as a coach, it's really trying to reach each one of those players, because each player has to be talked to a little bit differently. Not everybody can, relate to criticism. Some players have to be, babied a little bit more. So really trying to transition and find how each player needs to be coached has been the tough part.
Top of the third inning, of course, working for Natalie Poole. She was a volunteer coach 3 seasons ago, and now in her second year as an assistant under Natalie Poole.
She's done such a great job with these pitchers, really decreasing their ERA from last year to this year.
Katie Brignac, the junior, lead it off, making her first start of the year. She's a pitcher, but they're calling her number. She's had 2 at-bats this season. She's 1 for 2, so kind of giving USF a different look there as Brignac fouls it off. And the count is 1-1 against Cheyenne Eggins. Of course, we mentioned, of course, it's a great career at Tennessee, and we've seen more and more great pitchers going into coaching and being a pitching coach. It makes a lot of sense if you want to stick around in the game of softball.
Absolutely. It's such a fun game to play, especially when you have a knack for coaching. It's even that much better because you can still bond with those players. You still get that college level experience and it's just a lot of fun to show up to a softball field every day, and that's what you do for a living. Is you get to coach softball, you get to go to a softball field. Not everybody has that fun of a job. That's why people try to work in sports, because they want that fun aspect of it.
And a swing and a miss as Brignac goes down on strikes. A strikeout for Cheyenne Eggins for the first out here in the top of the third.
She does a great job really working the hitter, gets ahead and throws that rise ball up in the zone. Where she goes swings and misses.
Second strikeout for Cheyenne in the ball game. Now we go to the number 9 hitter, Hannah Harold, the senior. Swings and misses. As a pitcher, does your approach change against a slap hitter as opposed to a regular hitter that swings away?
Absolutely, because they're a slap hitter for a reason. They're quick. So the last thing you want to do is how their bat angle goes up. you try not to throw a lot of rise balls because they can get on top of it a lot easier than a drop ball.
Here's a fly ball to left. Wyckoff with the sunglasses makes the catch. So Kristen Wyckoff there having a nice smile there for the senior. Makes the catch. 2 gone here in the top of the third, and that'll bring up to the top of the order. And Kyler Trosclair, who got on in the first inning with a hit, and now she'll step in here with no one on and 2 outs. And again, Memphis, they love the slap hitters at the top and at the bottom of the order. It's usually what you'll see them hit in a particular lineup.
And Trosclair is so good. She does such a great job of being a leadoff hitter. Her on-base percentage shows with that. She's aggressive with the short game, and her job as a leadoff is to always get on, and she does a great job of doing that as a leadoff hitter for Memphis.
Pitch 1-0. The appeal down to the umpire says no swing, says Tom Meyer, the third base umpire.
She really sets the tone for Crowdis to drive her in.
Well, that's the big key, is for her and Maxwell to get on and set it up for Crowdis. As the 2-0 pitch, and that's a grounder to short. Lauren Evans will throw to first in time, and just like that, a 1-2-3 third inning for Cheyenne Eggins and the Bulls defense as the Tigers go down in order. We're through 2.5 of play here in Tampa. Still no score between the Tigers and the Bulls on the American Digital Network.
The University of South Florida is a regional powerhouse with global significance, leading advances that are changing the world. Now a leader among the nation's universities in research, healthcare, and just being cool. The place where young men and women train to become the best.
This is where the Bulls run.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Bottom of the third, you see USF head coach Ken Erickson has been here with the USF Bulls since 1997. Get set here for the bottom of the third, and I know you had a chance to talk to him earlier this week, and it's been a challenging year for him after winning the regular season championship last year. Of course, losing Erica Nunn and the conference pitcher of the year due to graduation, so had to kind of step up. Some of the new pitchers had to step in, but they're dealing with a lot of injuries this season.
Yeah, like I said before when I spoke with him, I made the comment, it seems like 1 through 9, you've had quite a bit of injuries. And he's like, actually, no, 1 through 15, which is true because a lot of players that should be playing are not playing, and players that are playing are hurt because, you can't come back from a meniscus tear or a broken hand.
He's seen it all. He's been here at USF since 1997. As Anna Marie Bruni, the winner, the hero from yesterday's win for the Bulls. She had the walk-off 2 RBI hit in the bottom of the 8th yesterday. But, of course, Ken Erickson, also the U.S. national coach, which now gets a lot more attention with the Olympics back in play for the sport of softball, as the 1-0.
Which is so great for the sport.
Oh, yeah. Tremendous. But now there's more scrutiny on it.
Yeah.
Because people are going to be wondering who's going to be on the team. Of course, the Olympics are not till 2020 in Tokyo. Great country for softball. They love the sport. A lot of players play professionally in Japan. As the 2-0. And that's a strike, 2-1. And I've talked to him about that, and he knew it, and it's been a long process to get softball back into the Olympics. And certainly he's aware of it, so he's not surprised. He's been preparing for this day, and certainly, of course, has been with the U.S. national team as an assistant, going back under Mike Condrea, the great Arizona head coach. So, and certainly he's done a great job there and balancing it out with coaching here at USF, and, of course, has built this program up.
Absolutely. Just like they honored before the ladies that were here on the field before the game started, they've done such great things, making it to super regionals, making
Women's College World Series 2012.
Yep, making it into the College World Series, which is a huge thing for their program. Or for any program, for that matter.
No question about it. Count is 3-2 to Hannah Marie Bruni, freshman. Of course, coach in this state is just as tough an accomplishment as Bruni takes ball 4 and a leadoff walk to Bruni, who does a good job there, good at bat, and she gets on now, and now the red hot Kristen Wyckoff will come to the plate. She had a base hit in her first at bat in the first inning. She's got 5 hits already in this series. And Coach Erickson, as a matter of fact, is going to have a word with Wyckoff here. They're going to talk some strategy here. What do you think is kind of be part of the strategy here? You've got Bruni, the freshman at first, with Wyckoff. A lot of options here for Coach Erickson. You could do a straight steal. You could do hit and run, bunt with Wyckoff. But Wyckoff's the type of kid that can bunt and get bunt for a hit.
Right, absolutely. His discussion with his players are, make sure we move the runner. We have no outs, leadoff walk. This is the time that we can score a run and get ahead of Memphis.
Wyckoff, the senior in her senior year. See how Memphis plays this. With Bruni at first, nobody in the inning. And the first pitch. It's a ball. So 1-0 the count to Wyckoff. See with Molly Smith here on the 1-0. Outside, 2-0. And so far, Wyckoff doing a good job, not really showing what she wants to do there. Kind of shows bunt, but not really. So
absolutely.
It's keeping the pitcher kind of trying to guess, right?
Yeah, she's trying to look for a pitch. As you can see, they're throwing her outside. Her goal, if I were her, is to drive her in between the first and the second baseman. There was a huge gap there, and if she can drive it in there, Bruni can potentially get to third base.
The 2-0 again, and it's outside. It's 3-0.
Yeah, she's not swinging until she can get that inside part of the plate. She really wants to drive it to that side of the field.
Yeah.
So Bruni can move along the bases.
Molly Smith having a quick word with her catcher Hadley here, and I think they're trying to make sure they're on the same page here.
Absolutely, she needs to work ahead, especially on these last 2 hitters. She needs to really work ahead. Leadoff walks are never a good start to an inning.
3 balls and no strikes the count to Wyckoff.
And especially to Wyckoff. She's such a quick runner.
Wyckoff shows bunt, pulls back, takes ball 4, a 4-pitch walk. And the Bulls have 2 on here in the 3rd inning. Still nobody out. Now you got Donovan, and again, if you're Ken Erickson and the Bulls, you're in the same spot. You can bunt with Donovan with 2 good base runners on base, and Bruni and Wyckoff with Donovan at the plate. And now Memphis is going to meet in the circle. As it looks like here, we got Ellen Renfro-Reed, who's going to come out and talk to her pitcher. And both teams will regroup here a little bit. You see Ken Erickson there talking to Aston Donovan. We mentioned about the job. It's a tough job nowadays coaching in this state. You've got Coach Erickson here at USF. Of course, right down in Orlando, Renee Lours-Gillespie's done a great job at UCF, winning the American Conference regular season title in 2014 and 15. Has made numerous NCAA tournament appearances. Of course, you got Tim Walton at Florida, Lonnie Alameda at Florida State. They're 1-2 in the polls. So this state has become like football in the spring, where it's tough competition with tremendous talent in this state. And that's part of the challenge as a coach in this state.
Absolutely. Such a challenge to get such good recruits at your school when you have so many good programs, all the way from FSU to Florida, even all the way down to FIU. Girls are going all over the state of Florida. They want to play. Your time is such limited in college. Do you want to play at a school, or do you want to sit the bench at the school? That's the biggest thing.
And the first pitch is a ball. 1-0 the count to Aston Donovan. A leadoff walk to Bruni. And then Wyckoff. As right now, Molly Smith trying to find the strike zone. Donovan does get the bunt down. It's a good one. The throw to first is not handled, and everybody is safe. And USF will have the bases loaded here in the 3rd inning. Nice job bunting there by Donovan.
Yeah, such a great job that she does there. She knew the pitcher, Smith, has thrown 7 straight balls, so it's just extremely important for her to get ahead on that hitter. And such a great pitch to lay a bunt down and move the runners and get safe, which is an extra, icing on the cake.
So Moeller will come to the plate. Bases loaded here still. Molly Smith in big trouble here. Small ball here by the Bulls. Couple of walks and a hit. And Moeller hits a fly ball to right. Maxwell, and it'll be the center fielder making the catch. Proud is tagging from third and scoring. Will be Anna Marie Bruni to give USF a 1-0 lead here in the fourth. A sacrifice fly for Moeller, and that's textbook how you manufacture a run.
Absolutely. That's such a productive out. Driving the ball to the outfield, regardless if it was a fly ball, yeah, you would like a hit to drive in a few extra runs. But she does a great job in picking out a pitch and driving it to the outfield to give her runners enough time to move along the bases.
Sam Worrell will come to the plate. Second and third with 1 out. In fact, Coach Erickson's double-checking. The scoreboard says 2 outs, but it's inaccurate. It's 1 out. And they have fixed that. That's why the delay there. But second and third, and good job base running 2 by the Bulls there to get 2 runners in scoring position on that sack fly. A lot of times players get caught looking at the ball and don't advance.
Yeah, you absolutely took the words right out of my mouth. They read the ball, saw that the play was coming to home, and they moved to second and third. Now they're in scoring position still with 1 out.
If you're Molly Smith, you have the open base at first. Do you pitch around Sam here, who's got 6 home runs for the Bulls? You got Bethany King, a freshman, on deck. Is that something you're toying with in your mind as Smith delivers? He goes after her and fouls it off. So I guess based on that pitch, the answer is no.
No, they're trying to do the same thing like we talked about in the first inning when USF had runners on. They're trying to get her to pull the ball down the third, just shortstop area, so they can hold the runner on third base and get the out at first for 2 outs.
You got Wyckoff and then Donovan. Wyckoff at third, Donovan at second. Is a squeeze play here in play if you're Ken Erickson? Do you even consider that if you're him?
I'm sure. He's gutsy. He's a gutsy coach. He likes to score runs, get ahead. Just because you have 1 run on the board doesn't mean that this is the end of the ball game. They know they have a long way to go. Memphis is a tough hitting team.
He lets Sam hit away, Sam Worrell, and the pitch is fouled off. Of course, the counter to that is Sam is a good power hitter, leads the team in RBI. So sometimes there's certain hitters, right? As a coach, there's certain hitters you're like, I want this hitter to hit all the time, and there's certain hitters I don't. Maybe I'll try different things. So that's also part of the, knowing your players.
Absolutely. It's the same thing as, what Donovan did. Maybe he's looking for her to, hit a long fly ball so she can score another run on third base because now the ball game's 2-0 instead of, you get a ground ball where she doesn't score.
Pitch was outside. The count is 2-2 as Molly Smith battling here with runners at second and third. 1 out here in the bottom of the third. A 1-0 lead in favor of USF. They're in game 2 of this series. The 2-2, she goes upstairs. Ball 3, and the count is full, 3-2. So she went upstairs there. And again, you still have the open base at first, so if you're Molly Smith, you know that, right? You don't have to give in here necessarily.
Absolutely. She did such a great job on getting ahead of Worrell this at-bat, unlike the prior 2 at-bats where she walked back-to-back runners. So she really just needs to throw her game.
That's a bullet right by the Memphis dugout down the left side, and looks like everybody's all right. But that's count remains 3-2.
Yeah, Smith just really needs to command the strike zone a little bit better, really throw her game and not try to throw to each hitter and, to their game. She needs to throw her game and not try to overdo every batter because these USF hitters are strong hitters.
Especially with the power that Sam Worrell brings here with 6 homers, 25 RBIs. Coming into this game, tied for the team lead in homers, leads in RBIs. Second and third, 1 out here in the third. Smith, the veteran junior, delivers. Upstairs, ball 4. Third walk of the inning for Molly Smith. And the Bulls have the bases loaded.
First baseman
For the freshman, Bethany King will step in here. As looks like Ellen Renfro-Reed checking something there. We'll see if they're going to make a move here in the lineup. And that's going to be, looks like a pitching change for Molly Smith. Might be done here. They might make a move. And it is. It'll make a pitching change here in the bottom of the third. So we'll tell you about the new pitcher when we return. It's 1-0 USF here in the bottom of the third. You're watching American Conference Softball on the American Digital Network.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones. Not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
New pitcher for Memphis, Katie Brignac, comes into the ball game, Alice, and we saw her starting the game as a DP, took a swing, and now we know with the flexibility in softball, you can bring her in and coming in relief here in a big situation, but bases loaded and 1 out.
Yeah, it's so tough as a pitcher coming in with bases loaded. Her job is to come in and get outs and minimize the damage.
So Brignac in relief. Now Molly Smith can certainly re-enter. Remember, there is a re-entry rule in college softball. As King takes ball 1, the bases on balls really kind of did in Molly Smith there. 3 walks in the inning.
Absolutely. Leadoff walks. As a pitching coach, you're always going to say kill you and we'll always score. And as you can see, that happened in Memphis' situation is the leadoff walk scored.
King swings away and fouls it off. And the count is a ball and a strike with the bases loaded. 1 out here in the third. A 1-0 lead in favor of the Bulls.
Yeah, Brignac really needs to just work ahead of these hitters and stay ahead of them. USF is such a tough hitting team that anytime you get down, they can look for their pitches, and they're going to attack the strike zone. And as you can see, they're the first ones to score because they're really looking for their pitches and being selective.
So Brignac making her 16th appearance of the year. Delivers on the 1-1, and that's hit to left. It's carrying, and it's knocked down by the left fielder, and it's all the way into the wall. Wyckoff will score. Donovan will score, and the Bulls take a 3-0 lead as Bethany King is at second base. Second and third, still only 1 out. That was a tough play there. That ball jumped on the left fielder there, Harold.
Such a great hitting situation right there. It looks like a hanging changeup just over in the middle of the plate. And just the outfielder couldn't get there in enough time, but does a great job staying with the changeup. Such a tough pitch to hit, but does a great job driving that ball.
It's ruled a double, a 2 RBI double by Bethany King, and the Bulls take a 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the third. That ball just kept carrying. That was the thing that was the problem for Harold, the left fielders. That ball just took off as a left fielder. That's a tough play as an outfielder.
Absolutely. She just got a good bat on ball and really drove her pitch, which is good, which is what you want to do, is pick out your pitch. These Memphis pitchers have been struggling, and they really need to look for their pitches, and that's what USF is doing right now. They're picking out their pitches and really driving it.
And now Lauren Evans will come to the plate as you see Keene in second base with the big double for the freshman. It's 3-0, still second and third, 1 out. As Evans takes up high for a ball. Evans was an all-conference member last season here in the American Conference as a first baseman, all-region player. This year has been playing shortstop due to injury. That is not her natural position. She's learning the position. But sometimes when you got some injuries, you just got to step up. And as an athlete, Evans has certainly done a good job there at short. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. As Brignac now, if you're Brignac, you're just trying to now minimize this. You don't want to get too far behind in a ball game here.
Absolutely. You want to, as a pitcher, you want to work ahead. You come out of the bullpen for a reason to minimize that damage, and that's what she really needs to do right now is step up and minimize that damage. Throw strikes, get ahead, let your defense work for you. That's what they're there for. Don't try to overpower these USF hitters because they're great hitters for a reason.
The count is 2-1. As Brignac trying to get out of this jam. Still action in the Memphis bullpen. She faces the right-handed hitting Lauren Evans. The 2-1. Evans shows bunt. She went away. It's a squeeze play, a safety squeeze. They throw to third, and she's out. Sam Worrell caught there. Looked like a safety squeeze. The ball was in the dirt, and Allison, you could tell that Evans committed to it, trying to protect the runner.
Yeah, she shows bunts and tries to block the catcher as much as she could, but obviously a little bit short there, didn't get the ball down like she was supposed to.
Well, that's a tough pitch, and they obviously
Absolutely.
called for the squeeze there as the 2-2, and now Evans grounds it to short. The throw to first is in time, and just like that, the inning is over as Kyler Trosclair makes the throw as Brignac gets out of that jam. But the Bulls score 3 runs and lead 3-0 after 3. You're watching American Conference Softball on the American Digital Network.
The University of South Florida is a regional powerhouse with global significance, leading advances that are changing the world. Now a leader among the nation's universities in research, healthcare, and just being cool. The place where young men and women train to become the best.
This is where the Bulls run.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
And welcome back. Top of the 4th inning, a 3-0 lead for the Bulls as Cheyenne Eggins back to work. And now USF jumping on Memphis, 3-0 Allison. Now Memphis, you got to respond after giving up the 3 spot here in the 3rd.
Absolutely. Eggins' job at this point is just to work ahead of these tough Memphis hitters. Stay ahead, let your defense do the work, and get out. You have a 3-run lead at this point, so you need to just really play your game, let your defense work, and let your offense continue to work for you.
It'll be Addison Maxwell, Lindsey Crowdis, Tyler Johnson, 2-3-4 against Cheyenne Eggins, who now has a 3-run lead to work with. Had a chance to sit there for a while. It's a good problem as a pitcher, but it is an issue. Some pitchers, sometimes when they sit for a while, it throws off their rhythm a little bit.
Yeah, it does a little bit when you sit in the dugout for a little bit of time.
And the first pitch is foul back, 0-1.
But it's obviously a nice and reassuring situation to walk back out on the mound. You can settle down a little bit more. You have a 3-run lead. Your offense has done the work for you. Now it's just your job to come in and get those outs.
0-1 the count to Maxwell. And that's low for a ball. 1-1 the count. You're at the top of the 4th. USF with a 3-0 lead. Maxwell trying to get something started for the Tigers. And she lines it foul. And as a hitter, it's just one at-bat at a time. Nobody can hit a 3-run homer on one swing. You just got to kind of take it one at-bat at a time, get some base runners on. It's a long game. We're only in the top of the 4th.
Absolutely. And Maxwell does a great job picking out her pitch. She does walk quite a few times. That shows that she has a great pitch selection, and she's going to work for her team and get on base.
1-2 the count. And the pitch by Eggins, and she jams her and pops it to first as Keene is there to make the catch. Good pitch by Cheyenne Eggins, jamming Maxwell there for the first out here in the top of the 4th.
And that's what you want to do as a pitcher. After your team has come out and scored 3 runs for you, you want to come out and get that first out. It shows a distinctive matter that you're coming here and you're going to work for your team like they just did for you offensively.
So that'll bring up Lindsey Crowdis, the nation's leader in batting average. Takes ball 1-0 the count.
You just want to pitch smartly to her. Don't give her anything good. Right now you have 1 out. There is an open base.
Oh, and you got a 3-run lead to work with, too, so you can be more aggressive now with a 3-run lead.
Absolutely.
The 1-0, Crowdis drills it to short, but right to Evans, throws to first in time, 6-3 ground out, and Crowdis retired there in the second out. Evans perfectly positioned there to throw out Crowdis. That was good scouting there. They played her a little bit more towards the left side of the infield there and got her to ground out for the second out of the inning. As Tyler Johnson now will come to the plate with no one on and 2 outs. Johnson, the right-handed hitter. As Cheyenne delivers. First pitch is a strike, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, like I said before, Eggins is doing such a great job of getting ahead of these hitters and getting the outs after your team has just come out and scored 3 runs for you. That's what you want to do. That shows your team the dominance that you have on that mound.
And that's a fly ball to right center, deep at the warning track. It's caught by the center fielder, Donovan, to end the inning. As Cheyenne Eggins has retired 12 in a row. We're through 3.5 here in Tampa. USF leads 3-0 on the American Digital Network.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones. Not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Bottom of the fourth here in Tampa. A 3-0 lead in favor of the Bulls. As now Brignac, who came in relief in the third inning, will start off this bottom of the fourth. Here in the second game of this conference series. Of course, they'll play one more tomorrow, and right now the Bulls, with a win, would clinch the series, while Memphis trying to come back and even up the series. It'll be Lindsay Devitt, Morgan Gross, Anna Marie Bruni. 7-8-9.
24.
To
Lindsay Devitt.
hit here. So Devitt, the second baseman, sophomore. And so we'll see what happens there. You see some of the Bulls players. Those are some of the Bulls players there. Always amazing with softball players. Are very into the game, very lively.
Oh, yeah, with the cheering. I know they've done away with all the extra curricular activities in the dugouts where you'd see like hats and like tambourines, which is great, but you're also there to cheer on your team and you don't need all those other distractions.
The 1-0 pitch to Devitt is a strike. And the count is 1-1. There you see the Bulls dugout. They'll get going as certainly as soon as all teams do. When their teams make a rally, they get them lively. 1-1. 2-1. To each his own. Every team has their own personalities. When you played, were you a raw person in the dugout when you were not pitching, or were you kind of to yourself?
I was kind of to myself, but I got excited when obviously my teammates scored for me because, you know, they're helping me out and getting me the run support that I needed.
The 2-1 pitch is missed up high. 3-1 they count.
But you also want to be a part of the team and cheer them on. So I wouldn't do the rah-rah. I would just sit there and, like, clap or, like, scream like the player's name just to be a part of a team, because that's what you want. You're ultimately on as a part of a team, and you want to, you know, contribute to that.
The 3-1 pitch is a high chopper to short, and she won't be able to handle that as Devitt gets on as Trosclair. That was a high chopper, hard play there to make a play. We'll see how they score that.
You see, she just drives the ball into the ground. Such a hard play. Really high in the air for the shortstop to try to grab it. But she does such a great job in keeping it in the infield to minimize the extra bases because Devitt is such a quick runner.
They have ruled it a hit, so that is a hit. Runner at first with nobody out. And now Morgan Gross swings away the first pitch. Again, the Trosclair is going to go to second for one, and that's what they'll get. They'll get the force out. Fielder's choice on that. One gone here in the fourth.
Number 4, right fielder.
That was such a hard play, too. She really stayed in front of the ball, and she knew she didn't have enough time to get the runner at first. It was a smart play going to second, and a great job with the second baseman being there.
And that'll bring up Anna Marie Bruni, who started that 3-run third inning with a walk. She got on and scored in that inning. And of course, was the hero in yesterday's game with a walk-off 2 RBI hit in the bottom of the 8th. And she lines one to short again. Kyler's there, throws to first. It's too high. They was trying to get the lead runner there, Morgan Gross, but Gross slide back. Fortunately for Memphis, there's that netting that knocked the ball down. So no damage there. A great play by Kyler Trosclair. Has had a busy inning.
Great play and well hit. Really hard hit. Had enough time to try to pick off that runner at first. A better throw would have gotten her.
So with now 2 outs and a runner at first. Go back to the top of the order and Kristen Wyckoff. The senior shows bunt, takes a strike, and the count is 0-1 for Wyckoff. Of course, Wyckoff walked in that 3rd inning, scored. That was against Molly Smith. Here at the bottom of the 4th. And she taps one to guess who? Trosclair throws to first in time. Nice play by the shortstop, Kyler Trosclair, to end the inning. So we are through 4 innings of play here in Tampa with the score USF 3, Memphis nothing. You're watching American Conference Softball on the American Digital Network.
The University of South Florida is a regional powerhouse with global significance, leading advances that are changing the world. Now a leader among the nation's universities in research, healthcare, and just being cool. The place where young men and women train to become the best.
This is where the Bulls run.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Top of the 5th here at Tampa. Of course, this great venue with the softball field right here. And then right next to us, literally right next to us, is the baseball field where the USF baseball team plays. They're on the road, ironically, at Memphis this weekend in baseball series. But it's one of these unique facilities, Allison, where you have softball and baseball basically within a few feet of each other. And there's Jessica Moore, Allison. A great All-American at Oregon, led him to the Women's College World Series, and now in her 2nd season as the pitching coach at USF, of course, part of the United States Olympic team as well on the roster, and what a great career at Oregon, and now, as we talked about earlier with Renfro Reed, going into coaching.
Absolutely. It's such a great transition for players that want to continue to, contribute to the sport and be a part of the sport because, your playing time is kind of limited after college.
And the first pitch is popped up to short as Evans is there and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. As Stickrod is retired on 1 pitch, and Cheyenne Eggins is on a roll now. 13 in a row retired for Cheyenne Eggins.
Yeah, she's doing such a great job really getting ahead of these hitters each and every at-bat, getting the first pitch as a strike so she can throw her other pitches and, make the Memphis hitters work and get outs.
Reagan Hadley at the plate. Here in the top of the 5th. Takes low for a ball. But so Jessica Moore in her 2nd season as the pitching coach at USF. Of course, balancing that playing and coaching, which a lot of players do, whether it be playing on the U.S. Olympic team or playing on the NPF in the Professional Softball League. 1-0. It's a comebacker to Cheyenne Eggins. Will throw to first in time to get Reagan Hadley as Cheyenne Eggins continues to roll, making Jessica Moore very pleased right there. Right now, she's writing a bunch of outs there.
Absolutely. She's doing her job as a pitcher, like we said before. She's getting ahead, throwing her pitches instead of coming from behind and having to throw pitches that batters may hit.
Aaron Parker to the plate, the 3rd baseman, freshman. Lefty bat, swing and a miss. As a hitter, how do you know that now Cheyenne is in a groove? What can you do as a hitter to kind of throw her off her rhythm a little bit?
Start to, string some hits together, look for your pitch, be aggressive. When, every pitcher makes that one mistake in an at-bat that you can really get a bat on ball. And that's what you need to do is you need to look for that pitcher's mistake and really hit it, because that's how you're going to break up her momentum. Because right now she's in momentum, and she's retired. She retired in order last inning 1, 2, 3, and it almost looks like the status quo this inning. She might retire these Memphis hitters 1, 2, 3 again. So they really need to look for their pitches and really drive it, because pitchers do make a mistake every at bat.
The 0-2 pitch is low for a ball. 1-2 the count to Parker. And sometimes you got to take a pitch, maybe step out of the batter's box too, right? If a pitcher likes to work fast, you want to do that sometimes just to try to change the momentum a little bit.
Absolutely. When pitchers get in a groove, that's the last thing that you want. So anything you can do to kind of mess with their momentum is better for your offensive team, and maybe you can string some hits together that way. Otherwise, when you get in that momentum, you kind of get in that groove when you're laser focused in and really looking for your pitches and know what pitches are working well and really spinning your pitches, which is more important.
The 1-2 pitch. She jams her, and again, it's hit foul down to third base side. And we'll do it again. 1-2 the count to Parker with 2 outs. Here in the top of the 5th. In case you're just joining us, USF scored 3 in the bottom of the 3rd, knocking out the starting pitcher Molly Smith. Cheyenne Eggins gave up a leadoff hit in the 1st and has retired everyone since then. She's been on a roll right now for the sophomore. Looks at a sign from her catcher and delivers, and again, a foul ball. So a good battle here going on from Parker against Eggins. Fouling pitches off towards the left side right now is what Parker's doing.
Absolutely, but Eggins has gotten into her groove after that first inning. She kind of struggled a little bit trying to get ahead of hitters, but since then she's really zoned in and has thrown her pitches and gotten ahead of these tough Memphis hitters.
The 1-2 pitch, and that's hit foul. Foul back, and this battle continues. And if nothing else, Parker's making Cheyenne Eggins work here. Cheyenne with a 2.11 ERA coming into this ball game. The sophomore on this team.
And if I were Eggins in this situation, I've thrown quite a few strikes. I would really throw in way out of the zone to see if I can get her to chase like that. Because you want to break up that momentum of the hitter too, because she's really looking for a pitch and she's aggressive. She has 2 strikes on her. She knows she's got to pick out a good pitch.
2-2 the count. Eggins delivers, and again foul. And the battle continues as we're approaching double digits on this at bat. As a matter of fact, it is now. That was the 10th pitch of this at bat between Parker and Eggins, and both of them now. They know this is a lengthy at bat. Now the competitive juices they're already there, but now they really want to dig in on this at bat right here. As the 2-2, and again is fouled.
Absolutely. It's been such a great battle between the pitcher and the hitter. She really needs to just throw her pitch and really try to get Parker to swing at something a little out of the zone, and so she can't get her barrel on it.
The 2-2. Inside it goes, and it looked like did it hit her or hit the barrel of the bat? That's going to be the question. And Parker's playing it off as she got hit by a pitch, and they're going to say no. Let's see here. They're going to discuss it. They're going to bring Parker back. They're going to say hit the bat.
It looks like it does hit the bat just above the grip.
So the count stays at 2-2.
But that's exactly what I would have done in Eggins' situation. She's throwing a bunch of outside curveballs, so I would have gone up in the zone to get her to swing and chase, because that's what you want to do right now as a pitcher. As many pitches as you've thrown, you want to get them to chase.
So this battle continues as the 13th pitch of this at-bat is forthcoming between Cheyenne Eggins and Aaron Parker. And again, we foul it off. And now we're going up to pitch 14. As a player, are you aware right now of how lengthy this at-bat is? Or are you just too focused on pitch to pitch? You're not even remembering how many pitches.
Oh, no, at this point that it's been a lengthy at-bat. You really just want to try to work in a different strike zone, and like what I would do is start trying to throw it inside and mix it up a little bit.
She does that with a grounder inside the 3rd, and the throw to first is in time as Sam Worrell makes the play, and Cheyenne Eggins works a 1-2-3 5th inning. We're through 4.5 complete here in Tampa with the score USF 3 and Memphis nothing. You're watching American Conference Softball on the American Digital Network.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, To blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones. Not just to learn, but to experience. To create, solve, build. To explore and express. To lead. Because an education isn't something you get. It's something you do.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Bottom of the fifth, Eric Lopez here alongside former UCF Knights standout pitcher and 2009 NPF champion Allison Kine. Here in the bottom of the fifth as the Bulls with a 3-0 lead over the Memphis Tigers. 3 runs in the inning, 5 hits, I should say. No errors for the Bulls in this ball game. No runs, 1 hit, and no errors for Memphis. It'll be Aston Donovan to lead it off, followed by Cassandra Moeller and Sam Worrell. 2-3-4 to hit here against Brignac, Katie Brignac, here in the bottom of the fifth on a very festive Saturday evening here at Tampa at the USF campus. The strike, and they're already very excited, a lot of the USF fans. They announced the big news earlier, as many of you maybe watched on the American Digital Network. USF women's tennis as a 7 seed wins the tennis championships, knocking off Tulsa as Donovan hits it to first. And it's a fair ball, and it's a tag at the bag at first base for the first out. Here in the bottom of the fifth, as that'll bring up Moeller. But USF women's tennis was a 7 seed, and they knocked off the top seed Tulsa 4-2 in the women's tennis championships up at Lake Nona in Orlando. That was carried on the American Digital Network. So USF going to the NCAA tournament in women's tennis, and then men's tennis final, which will also be on the American Digital Network tomorrow at noon Eastern. It'll be USF and UCF. Want to make sure you check that out. A great matchup for the championship there, as that first pitch is a ball to Moeller. USF, of course, a perennial in men's tennis. Jimmy Arias, the former American tennis player, part of that USF staff. As the 1-0 pitch there is low for a ball 2. And UCF with John Roddick, the brother of Andy Roddick, has turned that UCF tennis program around. So you want to check it out on the American Digital Network. Our own Haley Outen is out there with working the mileage there, covering the golf this week and, of course, the tennis this weekend. 2-0 the count to Moeller. That's up high for a ball 3. Of course, these two teams, Memphis and USF, trying to gear it up for the conference tournament, which will begin May 11th in Greenville. East Carolina will be the host. Single elimination. The regular season champion will get the bye. We'll have the American Digital Network will have the coverage of the quarterfinals and the semifinals as that pitch hits Moeller inside, and it's a hit by pitch, and Moeller gets on with 1 out here in the bottom of the fifth.
Third baseman, Samantha.
She's having a smile, so she's doing okay, I would assume. As a hitter, I know you don't want to get on base via the hit by pitch, but not the worst thing in the world. Anything to do to get on, right?
Absolutely. That's your job as a hitter, is to try to get on any way you can, and even if that means hit by pitch.
Sam Blashinsky now pinch running at first base. Of course, the conference tournament in Greenville, that'll be on May 11th. On a Thursday, they'll have 3 quarterfinal action. Games starting at 11 a.m. Eastern. Of course, the semifinals on Friday, the 12th of May. We'll have it for you here on the American Digital Network. And Allison, you've participated in conference single elimination games. It's dramatic, it's intense, and it's almost like a different season. You can't even compare it to the regular season.
No, you can't. This is when really everything's on the line. Regardless of what your stats are through the regular season, this is the time that you can really make a name for yourself in your program and win the whole thing. It doesn't matter if you're number 9 seed, you could still take the whole thing.
Sam Worrell at the plate, grounded to second, knocked down. They'll throw to second is wide, and everybody is safe. As Tyler Johnson had a little trouble with that ball. That'll be an error on her. She bobbled it, and then she rushed that throw, it looked like, Allison, and airmailed the throw.
Yeah, it's a hard hit ball. She gets herself in front of it and then, just bobbles it. And like Eric said, instead of taking her time with the throw and maybe going to first base instead of second, she rushes the throw and Fortunately for Memphis, she didn't get to third base on that one.
So Bethany King now, who's had the big hit in this ball game, steps in with first and second and one out here in the bottom of the fifth. And the first pitch is low for a ball. It was back in the bottom of the third as Bethany King drilled that ball into left field for a double that scored 2 runs right there, slicing that ball, Allison, deep. And a tough play there for the left fielder, Harold, and that got Bulls 2 runs in there to widen his lead up to 3-0.
Yeah, she does such a great job really going with each pitch and driving that ball, whether it's to left field or right field. She just does a great job of picking out that pitch and driving it to where the pitcher's throwing it.
A ball and a strike to count to Keene, a freshman. Swings away, hits one to shallow left. Coming in and making the catch is Harold. For the second out of the inning as King flies out.
Number 10, the shortstop.
So that'll bring up Lauren Evans, the junior. Will step in, single back in the second. Had a very nice day, of course, playing the shortstop position. She'll hit here with 2 on, 2 out. Was an all-conference member last season at first base, as well as an all-region player for a USF team that won the regular season championship last season. And Evans pulls that ball into left into foul territory, and it's out of play. Of course, USF won the regular season championship last season. UCF won the first 2 American Conference regular season titles in 2014 and 2015. Tulsa this season, which right now they're in first place with a 10-1 record in the conference. They're trying to end the Sunshine State stranglehold in the regular season championship there. They're in 10-4. They have a 3-game lead on Houston in the standings. As the 0-1 pitch. As Evans grounds it to short, Trosclair will flip to third to get the force out to end the inning. A nice job by Kyler Trosclair. And the inning ends. Bulls threaten but do not score. We're through 5 complete here in Tampa with the score USF 3, Memphis nothing on the American Digital Network.
The University of South Florida is a regional powerhouse with global significance, leading advances that are changing the world. Now a leader among the nation's universities in research, healthcare, and just being cool. The place where young men and women train to become the best.
This is where the Bulls run.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
The lights are on here on this beautiful Saturday night here in Tampa, Florida, on the University of South Florida campus here at the USF Softball Complex, here at the USF Softball Stadium. It is to the top of the 6th. It's USF with a 3-0 lead over the Memphis Tigers. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors. For USF, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error for Memphis. And Allison, so far the story of this game is Cheyenne Eggins, who has been dominant for the Bulls.
Yes, she has. She's done a great job of getting ahead of these hitters, really pitching her game. And that's what you want to do as a pitcher. Once your team gives you a lead, you want to work ahead and keep that lead, because your offense has done the hardest part, is getting you those 3 runs against tough pitchers.
She will face Brignac to lead off here. The first pitch by Brignac fouls it back. Brignac will be followed by Harold and Trosclair. 8-9-1 to hit for Memphis. Here in the top of the 6th, and if you're Memphis, this could be the inning here. You want to get something going. You want to get Brignac, Harold, get on with the top of the order coming up. That's kind of be a key for Memphis if they want to get back in this. And a swing and a miss by Brignac, as right now Cheyenne Eggins is hitting all her spots.
Absolutely. She's working ahead of these tough Memphis hitters and pitching her game, and that's the biggest thing. That's why she's being so successful tonight, is that she's pitching her game. She is not having to throw to these hitters because she's behind in the count.
That pitch is outside for a ball. She's been ahead of the hitters all night for the sophomore.
But that was a great pitch. She's ahead of this hitter, and she really wants to throw something that she's going to chase and not necessarily a strike, because if you throw a strike, then she could get it for a hit.
She went inside there and just missed, and the count is 2-2.
That was a great miss because she's gone out, 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 and so to throw it in, obviously she might have, not expected it from the hitter, or the umpire didn't expect it to be an inside pitch.
The 2-2 is low and inside. Now, there is action in the Bulls bullpen. Something to keep in mind. Cheyenne Eggins, this is her 14th start this season. She's had one complete game. So don't, certainly I would think with Coach Erickson now, with the Bulls bullpen warming up, if Eggins gets in any trouble here, you're going to see the bullpen coming here as there's a pop-up to short. Evans is there and makes the catch. Cheyenne Eggins says, don't worry about it. I'm doing fine. Gets the out, one gone.
Absolutely, Ken. You don't see Coach Erickson let his pitchers throw a whole lot of games. 6 complete games between his pitching staff, so they don't always go the whole 7 innings.
And now the head coach for Memphis, Natalie Poole's going to come out here. And let's see, maybe make a move into the bench here. It's going to go to the bench here for a pinch hitter. As Bailey Wisher will come in to pinch hit for Harold.
Attention, please. Now
It's Coach Poole trying to find some answers offensively here against Cheyenne Eggins, and then sometimes you go to the bench with a hitter, and that could change the momentum in the game.
Absolutely. She's just trying to spark her offense any way possible. They've had a lot of fly balls tonight, so that shows you that Eggins really is throwing her rise ball to get them to pop up a whole lot. She's trying to make something work a little bit differently. She's a new hitter.
And the first pitch to the right-handed hitter, Wisher, is a ball. 1-0 the count. So the action in the Bulls bullpen. Hannah Parker, the lefty's one of the pitchers, warming up. And the 1-0, and a swing and a miss, and the count is 1-1. And that's significant, Allison, to keep in mind, because you look at the Tigers lineup with Trosclair, Maxwell, and Crowdis, the 1, 2, 3. They're all lefty hitters. And so it's not an accident that Hannah Parker's the one that's warming up for the Bulls as a lefty. She started last night's game as the 1-1. That's a ball, 2-1. There she is right there. She was the winning pitcher yesterday. And she could be in play here against the lefty hitters coming up from Memphis.
I would not be surprised at that. Lefty pitchers are so tough to hit. There's not many in softball. So trying to get a piece of a lefty hitter is really difficult.
There's a foul out as Keene makes the catch for the second out of the inning. As Kyler Trosclair will come through the plate.
Kyler Trosclair.
And Trosclair will come up. She has the only hit of the game for Memphis. That came in the first at-bat back in the top of the first. That's been it. Cheyenne Eggins has retired every Memphis Tiger since.
And it shows you how great of a job she's doing getting ahead of these hitters and throwing her game. That's what you want to do as a pitcher. To be successful, you have to throw your game. And she's doing such a great job of working ahead, throwing her pitches, making Memphis chase all of her pitches. As you can see, there's a lot of fly balls tonight, and that shows that her rise ball's really working, and they're chasing that.
There's a strike call. The count is even at 1-1.
But with the same aspect, you have to be careful throwing a lot of rise balls, because you miss a rise ball, they can go a whole lot further, 215 feet over that fence. So you got to be careful with how you throw it.
The 1-1 pitch. Foul back. And the count is 1-2. So Kyler, who has the only hit for the Tigers that came in the first inning and got all the way to third base, but Memphis unable to score in that inning. That's been it. That's been the only threat that Memphis has had so far in this ball game to this point. As Kyler tried down 1-2. As Cheyenne Eggins delivers, goes outside for a ball. 2-2 to count. They have stopped throwing in the USF bullpen, which I think it tells you that Coach Erickson likes what he's seeing right now from his pitcher, Cheyenne Eggins.
Absolutely. She's doing a great job of working these Memphis hitters and getting ahead.
2-2 the count. And Trosclair hits it to short. Off Evans there, and she will not be able to get. Kyler Trosclair gets on for the second time in this ball game. We'll see how they score that, but Memphis gets a base runner.
Number 6, right
Here in the top of the 6th. That'll bring up now Addison Maxwell. That has been ruled an error on Evans. Remember, Evans, not a natural shortstop, and playing first base last season. Had to move to short due to some injuries. And now Maxwell will come to the plate with a runner at first and 2 outs. And on deck is Lindsey Crowdis. So if Maxwell were to get on here, that would bring up Crowdis as the tying run at the plate. So that's, if you're Memphis, that's kind of the situation you want here.
Yeah, and if I was USF in this situation, I would do a pitch out like they did the first inning, because you know she's going to run. She's so quick.
Ball one. But would you even dare to run down 3 with 2 outs here in the 6th, though? That's the dilemma if you're Natalie Poole. You certainly got one of the best base runners in Trosclair. You trust her. But with 2 outs and you need base runners down 3, you might be more conservative than normal. It's the 1-0. It's up the middle and through. A base hit. Addison Maxwell gets the 2-out single, and Memphis now has 2 on and 2 outs, and the nation's leading hitter, Lindsey Crowdis, will come to the plate, and she will be facing a new pitcher, but a big hit for Maxwell.
She does such a great job of seeing her pitch and driving it. It's on the outside part of that corner and still drives it to the outside part up the middle. Does a great job.
And so Cheyenne Eggins is done here in the bottom of the 6th. It will be Hannah Parker, and we'll tell you about Hannah Parker when we come back. USF leading 3-0, but Memphis threatening here on the American Digital Network.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones. Not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
And welcome back to Tampa. 3-0 lead for USF here on the American Digital Network in the top of the 6th. Memphis 2 on, 2 outs, and new pitcher Hannah Parker for the Bulls.
Yeah, she does such a great job in the mound as a lefty pitcher. You're going to see a lot of changeups, rise, curve, and drop coming from her. Such a different sight coming from a left-handed pitcher. There's not, like I said before, there's not a whole lot of lefties in college softball. So whenever you get one, they're much more difficult to hit than a right-handed hitter or right-handed pitcher.
And not a surprise. We speculated in that inning if Eggins would get in some trouble, that Parker would come in. And this is, I think, the target that Ken Erickson had in mind. The leading hitter in the country coming into the week, Lindsey Crowdis, to hit here as representing the tying run at the plate. 2 on, 2 outs here. Crowdis versus Parker. If you're Memphis, this is what you wanted. If you get back in the game, your best player at the plate as the tying run. First and second, 2 outs. And the first pitch by Parker is a strike, and the count is 0-1.
When you want to be smart, you have 2 outs in a free base. So if worst comes situation, you just face the next hitter, Johnson, instead of facing Crowdis to give up 2 to 3 runs.
Crowdis pops it up in the infield. Sam Worrell makes the catch, side retired, as Parker gets the job done in relief, getting the nation's leading hitter, Lindsey Crowdis, to end the Memphis threat. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Bulls still leading 3-0.
The University of South Florida is a regional powerhouse with global significance, leading advances that are changing the world. Now a leader among the nation's universities in research, healthcare, and just being cool. The place where young men and women train to become the best.
This is where the Bulls run.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Bottom of the 6th, Here in Tampa, Florida, at the USF softball complex, Bulls with a 3-0 lead over the Memphis Tigers. Memphis had their biggest threat, Allison, in the top of the 6th. They got 2 on, 2 out for the nation's leading hitter in Lindsey Crowdis. But Coach Erickson goes to the bullpen, brings in Parker, the lefty, and it delivered a pop-up in the infield to end the inning.
And that's what you want to do when you come in from the bullpen. You want to get those outs and get ahead of those hitters, and that's exactly what she did. You don't want to show a lot of pitches to these hitters because they can get their timing down, and that's what you don't want to do. And Parker did such a great job getting ahead of her and throwing her pitches and get her to pop up.
Lindsay Devitt to lead it off for the Bulls here in the bottom of the 6th in a 3-0 lead. All 3 runs for the Bulls coming in the bottom of the 3rd. And, you know, the way the game of college softball is going, you know, Ken Erickson's done this for years as far as bringing in relievers for matchups, lefty-lefty, that baseball style, if you will. There's a swing and a miss by Devitt, but you're seeing more and more of that across the country. So really, Ken maybe saw what the future was coming. More coaches across the country with programs are going in this direction.
Absolutely. Ken knows that every hitter in Division I softball is tough 1 through 9. It's not just your 1, 2, 3, 4 hitters are tough. It's 1 through 9 that are tough, and he knows that it can get exhausting as a pitcher. You really have to use your legs. You really have to spin the ball. So if you can kind of mix up the other team's momentum and, you know, save your pitcher and not have her be a workhorse the whole game, can turn into a lot of victories.
Devitt with a 1-1 count as Brignac delivers a strike, 1-2 the count. And well, let's be honest, there's a lot better quality hitters now than there were, say, 10 years ago, where it was very pitcher-dominated sport. Now with the bats and the better athletes hitting, more players involved in softball because the sport's grown from a popularity standpoint. As there's a pitch foul that it's a lot harder for pitchers to go day and day and day and pitch every game against these quality hitters across the country. And so you're seeing more of a staff approach in the game. And certainly you still have your top pitchers of the sport that can go the distance, but certainly you need more depth in pitching now than maybe you did 10 years ago, or you could rely on one pitcher to get you through the year.
Absolutely, and the more tools you have in the bullpen or on your pitching staff, the better off you are.
As Devitt drops a base hit into right field to lead off here the bottom of the 6th. So Devitt gets on.
Number 29.
And that'll bring up Gross. That's a good job of hitting there by Devitt.
Yeah, great job hitting. Goes with the pitch. What a great job with the outfielder really cutting that ball off. That was such a well-hit ball that she does a great job of really cutting it off and minimizing it, getting to the outfield for extra base hits.
So now Morgan Gross, who, of course, is playing catcher, starting this year. Of course, after the graduation of the USF Bowl great catcher, Leanne Spivey. Now Gross shows bunt and does bunt. And it's a good one. The bare hand throw to first is in time. A nice job made there. Runner at second and 1 out. There's a nice effort there by Parker.
Right fielder.
And that'll bring up now Anna Marie Bruni with a runner at second. Or will it? Coach Erickson making a sign to the dugout and calling back Anna Marie Bruni. So he's going to go to a pinch hitter here, it looks like. Here in the bottom of the 6th. And might be Brooke Hartman. Looks like he'll be the number. Let's see if that's the number he'll call. He's got a couple of options on the bench. With a runner at second and 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th, a 3-0 lead.
And Ken knows that he needs as many runs as he can get, with this tough Memphis team. They have their top of the lineup coming up with really tough hitters. So he knows he needs to maximize their run production and get as many runs as they can.
And it will be the pinch hitter, Brooke Hartman, a freshman. One of 9 freshmen on this roster for the Bulls. Will come in here to pinch hit against Brignac, the runner at second. And if you're Brignac, you're trying to keep this at 3 runs and hope that your team can make a run at the top of the 7th. You can't afford to give up another run or two and really hurt your momentum going into the top of the 7th.
Absolutely. You really just need to focus in here and get the outs so your offense can come back and score you some runs.
First pitch to the right-handed hitting Hartman. Swings away and fouls it off down the left side. And the count is 0-1.
That's what you want to see as a hitter coming off the bench, is being aggressive, seeing your pitch and really driving it, because you know you've been on the bench the whole game, so you don't really want the pitcher to get ahead of you. You really want to see your pitch and hit it because it's going to come early on in the count.
The 0-1 pitch from Brignac coming to Hartman. Low for a ball. A ball and a strike the count. Brignac came in relief in the third inning for the starter, Molly Smith. As Brignac, with a count of 1-1, delivers the pitch low, ball 2. 2-1 the count to Hartman. And, of course, you got Wyckoff on deck, who's had a huge weekend. So this is an important at-bat for Brignac because you got your hands full coming up with Wyckoff.
In the top of the lineup, too. It's tough USF hitting team.
2-1. That's hit to right for Hartman. That's deep. That's going to be off the wall in right field. Runner coming from third. She's coming around to home. The throw is not in time. And it's an RBI double by Brooke Hartman. And the Bulls extend their lead to 4-0.
What a great job coming in as a pinch hitter and really finding your pitch and driving that to the outfield. Well hit ball. Had the fence been a little bit lower, like the rest of the field, that would have been over the fence, and that would have been an extra 2 runs for USF. And they know they need to maximize on this because Memphis's lineup is extremely tough.
Bruni will re-enter and back at second base for Hartman, but I think you just saw the difference why he went to Hartman. Bruni more of a slap hitter. Hartman has some power, and it paid off there with the double, scoring Devitt to get that 4th run. And that's going to be it for Brignac, as it looks like Smith is going to re-enter for the Tigers. We'll tell you more about Molly Smith re-entering here as we're in the bottom of the 6th here in Tampa with the score USF 4 and Memphis nothing. You're watching American Conference Softball on the American Digital Network.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones. Not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore
and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get. It's something
you do.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Welcome back here, bottom of the 6th. As the Bulls extend the lead to 4-0 over the Tigers. It'll be Wyckoff at the plate with a runner at second. And Molly Smith, who started this game, got pulled in the 3rd inning, re-enters the game. You can do that in college softball. And she re-enters here for Brignac to face Wyckoff. And time called. And, you know, you've been around the game in college softball. Kind of explain to the audience why that rule is in place there. You can re-enter, have more flexibility in softball in main part, because unlike baseball where you may have 8, 9 pitchers in the staff, you only have maybe 3 or 4 in softball.
Yeah, absolutely. You only have really about 2 to 3 great starting pitchers, typically 2 on any good pitching staff, but you don't have a whole lot of options in the bullpen like you would in baseball, so it's nice to always have that pitcher come back in.
And the first pitch, a strike there to Wyckoff. And the count is 0-1. We haven't seen Christian Novak, who started last night's game for Memphis. She went 8 innings. And we'll probably get the ball for Coach Natalie Poole tomorrow in their final game of the series. I think that's one of the reasons why we haven't seen Novak. Pitched a long game yesterday. That could take its toll. Absolutely, especially when you face all these tough hitters. And the 0-1 pitch from Smith as Wyckoff fouls it back. And the count is 0-2 to Wyckoff. Anna Marie Bruni at second base after Hartman with the pinch hit RBI double here in this inning, scoring Lindsey Devitt. And it's a 4-0 lead in favor of the Bulls. And great job with Smith coming in from the bullpen and getting ahead of Wyckoff because she's such a tough hitter and you want to work ahead on her. The 0-2 is outside as the count is 1-2. Now, as a pitcher, you started this game. You got pulled. But now you're back in, so it tells you that you always got to be ready. Even though if you get taken out of a game, you could re-enter at any moment. So you got to stay focused as a pitcher. That's got to be unique.
Absolutely. I think it goes for both coaches. I think Memphis and USF will do the same exact thing. They may take the pitcher out and then put her right back in because you never know how the game may progress.
And Smith comes in and strikes out Wyckoff. So Wyckoff making a rare out this weekend. A big strikeout for Smith for the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Ashton Donovan now to the plate with the runner at second and 2 outs. So that's the big thing. And sometimes as a pitcher, when you get taken out, you could work on maybe what went wrong, right? Some of the mechanics.
Absolutely. That's your time, especially when you don't hit. As a hitting pitcher, you can go down to the bullpen and work on pitches that may have not been working, and you know things that have been wrong in your mechanics while you're throwing in the game.
First pitch is low for a ball, 1-0 the count. And sometimes it's good to see kind of from the dugout what's going on, and you can kind of make the adjustments as you're watching the game, too.
Absolutely.
The 1-0 pitch. Check swing, and it's fouled. And, of course, Molly Smith, a veteran. And this is the thing, Memphis, a veteran staff with Smith, a junior, and, of course, Novak. Really big for them here in this conference in a year where there's been a lot of turnover as far as pitching. We mentioned earlier Erica Nunn, the reigning pitcher of the year in the American Conference here at USF, graduated. UCF with young pitchers. The 1-1 pitch. Up high, ball 2. They lost Shelby Turnier, their All-American pitcher. She went on to the NPF, so they got 3 freshman pitchers. Aaliyah White, their leader, but she's a freshman. Tulsa lost Caitlin Sill, their ace last year, but Emily Watson returns, and she has stepped it up to a different level. The 2-1 is Donovan drops a base hit into right field. Coming around in third and scoring will be Bruni, and USF extends its lead to 5-0 on an RBI single by Ashton Donovan. RBI number 21 for Donovan. And a good piece of hitting for Donovan, a big 2-out RBI.
And these USF hitters do such a great job of really going with each of these pitches. A whole lot of balls hit to right field. A lot of times you don't see that in college softball. A lot of them are pull hitters. So they do such a great job really going with their pitches and picking out the pitches that they like.
So it is a 5-0 lead here in the bottom of the 6th. Still runner at first. And Hannah Parker, who came in relief, will hit here. She's capable of hitting. And the first pitch is low ball. That's a smile to your face there. You pitch, but you also hit during the game. So you like those type of players that can hit and pitch.
Absolutely. It shows how engaged they are in the game. They really want to help out their teammates, especially if you give up a run or two during the softball game. You want to help your teammate out, and that's the best way you can do it, by putting a bat in your hand and doing some damage.
The 1-0, missed for a ball. 2-0 the count to Parker. With Donovan at first, 2 outs here in the 6th. Bulls scored 3 in the 3rd. And got 2 here in the bottom of the 6th to extend it to a 5-0 lead. Trying to win the second game of this series. Smith just trying to get out of this inning. As delivers the 2-0, and that pitch is hit foul. And the count is 2-1. 2-1 the count. If USF were to hold on here, they would improve to 7-6 in the conference, a half game back of UCF for 3rd place in the conference. UCF 7-5 has the bye week this weekend. USF, this is their final home series of the season. They have their bye next weekend, then they will end the regular season at Houston. The 2-1 pitch. The pitch is high for a ball. They will appeal here to see if she went. They appeal, no swing. Memphis, if they don't come back, would drop to 4-7 on the season. They still have Houston at home coming up on their schedule later on this season.
And it's huge for either program to get a win. You definitely want some momentum going into the conference tournament. That gives your team a huge...
There's a base hit to the right side as Parker pulls that ball down to right. And the runners will be at first and third. And Hannah Parker helping herself out with a single here.
What a great job just going with that pitch, pulling the outside pitch over, and really being able to move that runner over to third base. Such a great productive hit.
Sam Worrell will come to the plate, first and third, 2 outs here in the 6th. As they will meet up. And, of course, USF, they had the week off after losing 2 out of 3 to UCF last weekend in Orlando, an emotional series. Obviously, the rivalry, the war in I-4, as they call it. Won by the Knights. It was a walk-off in the bottom of the ninth, and you wondered how USF would respond with that after a heartbreaking loss in a rivalry series. But they've come out ready to play this weekend. The dramatic walk-off win for themselves last night, and they've carried that over here to tonight.
Yeah, and it shows this team does not give up. They have their seniors that lead them and make sure, they get ahead of these.
There's a ground at a third. A nice play by Parker. Throw to first, but the scoop is not handled, and a run will score. Now they get Parker in a bit of a pickoff. They throw to second, and she's out. And the inning ends, but the run will count. And the Bulls get a third run in the inning. So, through 6 innings now, here in Tampa, the score is USF 6 and Memphis nothing. You're watching American Conference Softball here on the American Digital Network.
The University of South Florida is a regional powerhouse with global significance, leading advances that are changing the world. Now a leader among the nation's universities in research, healthcare, and just being cool. The place where young men and women train to become the best.
This is where the Bulls run.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Top of the 7th here from Tampa. USF with a 6-0 lead over Memphis. Eric Lopez alongside Allison Kime, former NPF champion and 2009 pitcher, and Susan Wysocki coming into relief. Third pitcher of the night for the Bulls. And the senior, Susan Wysocki, of course, this is senior weekend for a lot of the Bulls seniors. An opportunity for her to close this game out.
Absolutely. She doesn't start a whole lot of games, only 6 on this season. In her appearances, she does come from the bullpen quite often. So you're going to see a lot of fastballs and off-speed pitches to get these strong Memphis hitters out.
All right, so we go top of the 7th. A 6-0 lead for the Bulls. We'll see what Memphis can do here. As Natalie Poole will hope that Tyler Johnson can get something going here in the top of the 7th. It'll be Johnson, Stick Rod, and Hadley to hit here in the top of the 7th. The first pitch, a ball, 1-0 the count. And for Natalie Poole and the Memphis Tigers, this has not gone the way they would have liked after the way the game ended last night. Now they're just trying to build some momentum, trying to make a comeback. But even if you don't make a comeback, important to maybe make a little bit of a noise here to carry some momentum into tomorrow.
Absolutely. Hitting is contagious, and at this point, that's what they need to do is start awakening their bats, and maybe that'll carry into tomorrow's game.
The 1-1. As Wysocki delivers inside for a ball. 2-1 the count. Here in the top of the 7th. USF got 3 runs in the 3rd, 3 in the 6th. And the pitch, ball 2, 2-1 the count. As the Bulls trying to improve and win the second game of the series and improve to 7-6 in the conference. As the 3-1, that's up high, ball 4, and a leadoff walk to Tyler Johnson, and a good at-bat for Johnson in Memphis. You need base runners when you're down 6, so there's no reason to be aggressive hitting. Take some pitches and see if maybe Wysocki gives you some free passes.
Absolutely. Does a great job of really trying to find her pitch, and she didn't, and ended up getting a walk.
So Stick Rod will come to the plate, and Stick Rod takes ball 1. And so Susan trying to find the strike zone.
Yeah, she just needs to work ahead. She has a 6-run lead her team has given her, so she needs to work ahead of these hitters.
And Stickrod lines it to second, caught by the second baseman, Devitt. And that's the first out here in the top of the 7th. So that'll bring up Reagan Hadley to the plate with a runner at first and 1 out here in the 7th. So Hadley, right-handed hitter. Of course, Memphis, when you think back to this game, Allison, we think back to that inning in the 6th where Memphis had 2 on, 2 outs, down 3-0, and their best player, Lindsey Crowdis, at the plate. USF went to the bullpen, brought in the lefty Hannah Parker, and she got Crowdis to pop up. That could turn out to be the difference in this game.
Absolutely. Especially when you have your top hitter on the team. Her job is to get on base and continue to help your team and get some runs, and unfortunately a pop-up does not help your team at all.
The 0-2, that's hitting deep in the hole and through to left field for a base hit. And Hadley with a single. And just like we talked about, Memphis not going down quietly, getting a walk and now a single, and they got 2 on and 1 out.
Yeah, it shows how this Memphis team does not give up. She really pulls that hit or pulls that pitch and drives it out past the shortstop and gets it through the infield.
So 2 on, 1 out.
It shows you these hitters don't give up, regardless if they're down 6-0 or if it's a 1-1 game. These hitters continue to come out and swing the bat and try to score some runs and get on base.
Now batting for the Tigers, number 23.
Brooke Lee will pinch hit, the junior. Will pinch hit here for Parker in the 7 spot. And again, if you're Memphis, you're just trying to hope to turn the lineup over and get back to the top of the order and have it give Trosclair and Maxwell and Crowdis one more chance here in this 7th inning. I think that's the approach that Coach Poole and the Tigers have here. And that pitch is low for a ball. 1-0 the count.
Absolutely. And these hitters at the bottom of the lineup have done a great job on getting on tonight, especially in the 7th inning when we're down 6-0.
One 1-0 the count. Upstairs, ball 2. 2-0 the count. And again, if you're Memphis, you're taking some pitches here. And now Jessica Moore, the pitching coach, the assistant coach in her 2nd season, is going to come out here and have a word with Susan. And what do you think? This is more about mechanics, I would assume, here, maybe trying to get ahead and throw some strikes, right?
Yeah, just get ahead. Your team has a 6-0 lead. You just need to get some outs. That's all you need to do at this point. Your team is ahead. They've given you that run support. You just need to work on getting some outs. You have 2 outs to go. The last thing you want to do, like you said before, is get to that top of that lineup because they're really difficult hitters. And they're speedy. So if they get on, they're going to move around the bases.
So 1st and 2nd, 1 out. The meeting is over. It's a 2-0 count to the right-handed hitting Brooke Lee. Right now, Susan Wysocki, senior, delivers a 2-0. And that's low, ball 3. 3-0 the count. And you got to believe if you're Brooke Lee here, you take here. You make her throw a strike.
Absolutely. You definitely don't want to swing on a 3-0 pitch unless you think you can drive that pitch over the outfield.
She does take the pitch, and it's a strike, and the count is 3-1. 2 on, 1 out, here to the top of the 7th. Memphis trying to start this rally here. A walk and a hit. That's a comebacker. They'll throw to third for the force out. The throw to first is safe. And it's 1st and 2nd and 2 outs, but they get the lead runner out. And now the Tigers are down to their last at bat in Katie Brignac.
And that's the most important thing at the end of the day that USF needs to do is get outs. The last thing you want to do is make an error and cause bases loaded or a run to score. You have such a huge lead at this point, you just want to get outs.
As Coach Poole here is going to talk into the making sure they're on the same page here. We'll see what the motions are here. I make sure everything there's sound away. And with Brignac here, the hitter, and then you got Harold. And if Harold can get on, you got Trosclair, Maxwell, and Crowdis. That's the tall order for Memphis, but they're hoping. They're going to go with a pinch runner here at first base. That's what the delay was about, as it looks like Parker will re-enter the game for Brooke Lee. So Parker running at first base. 1st and 2nd, 2 outs. And Brignac at the plate, trying to just extend this game for the Tigers. Trailing 6-0. The first pitch. Up high, ball 1. 1-0 the count. First and second, 2 outs. And the 1-0 pitch. The strike. We mentioned the road team has won every series since between these two teams since they started in American Conference play in 2014. USF has won both series in Memphis. Memphis won the one series here at USF in 2015. There's a strike. But now Susan Wysocki, the senior, is a strike away from giving the home team Bulls the clincher here to win the series. And we'll try to go for the sweep tomorrow. The 1-2. It's a ground ball to third. Sam Worrell tried to tag the runner. Will throw to first in time, and the game is over. And the USF Bulls defeat the Memphis Tigers 6-0. 6 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Bulls. No runs, 3 hits, and 2 errors for the Tigers as the Bulls improve to 28-21 on the season and 7-6 in the conference. Memphis drops to 23-22 and 4-7 in the conference. We'll have a post-game show when we return. Bulls victorious. You're watching American Conference Softball on the Digital Network.
The University of South Florida is a regional powerhouse with global significance, leading advances that are changing the world. Now a leader among the nation's universities in research, healthcare, and just being cool. The place where young men and women train to become the best.
This is where the Bulls run.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones, not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
Welcome back at the USF Softball Complex in Tampa, Florida. The USF Bulls victorious over the Memphis Tigers 6-0. They scored 3 in the third and added 3 more in the sixth. Came out victorious 6-0. Cheyenne Higgins, the winning pitcher for the Bulls. She improves to 8-6. Molly Smith drops to 7-10 on the season. And the Bulls win the series. They'll try to go for the sweep tomorrow. USF improves to 7-6 on the season. We hope to be joined by Cheyenne Higgins and Ken Erickson shortly, as Allison Kime have made it down to the field. And we'll try to talk to Cheyenne Higgins and Ken Erickson. But really a complete game for the Bulls. A dominant performance by Cheyenne Higgins, as she was victorious. Got into the 6th inning without giving up a run before she gave way to Hannah Parker, who came in relief and got the victory. Victorious 6-0. As Allison Kime will be talking to Ken Erickson and Cheyenne Higgins. We'll see who she gets first, as it looks like it will be Ken that she will be talking to first. And I'm going to toss it now. Here's Allison Kime with Coach Erickson, a victorious coach. Here, Allison.
Right there, right now, until Allison calls in.
Thank you. Congratulations, Coach, on tonight's win. Take us through that 2-hit shutout that Cheyenne had tonight.
Yeah, well, she had everything working tonight. You know, she was throwing some off-speed stuff that she's been working on with Coach Moore, and when you can control the count, as you well know, you know, then you can control the batter. So being 0-1 was important tonight, getting ahead and being able to work both sides of the plate. I thought was real nice for her tonight. And for her as a sophomore, you know, you see the progress.
Absolutely. And how does tonight's win carry the momentum into not only tomorrow's game, but maybe going into conference?
You know, Allie, the way things are nowadays with young guys, it has no bearing on tomorrow. It's who shows up tomorrow, and that's what college athletics is about. So if we can get them away from their cell phones and their attention spans can increase just 15 minutes more, I'll be happy. So who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, and the conference is so far down the road, you know, and we're just going to enjoy this one tonight.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Ken.
All right, you got it.
All right, back to Eric.
All right, thank you, Allison. The victorious coach, Ken Erickson, in a great mood as the Bulls were victorious. As Allison now will be talking to the winning pitcher, Cheyenne Eggins, here shortly. And Allison, I'm going to toss it right back to you with a very happy pitcher.
All right, thank you, Eric. Cheyenne, great performance tonight with 2 hits. What pitches were working for you tonight, and what was your mind frame going in today?
I would just say mostly all my pitches were working today. I just knew what sequences to hit, and I just knew that if I hit my spots, and obviously I'm not going to strike everybody out. I know my team's behind me. If I mess up or something, I know they have my back.
Yeah, and you did such a great job in getting ahead of those tough Memphis hitters. What is your team's mind frame going into tomorrow with such a great win these 2 games this weekend?
Coach's famous words to us are always, don't get happy when you're feeling crappy. So, I mean, yeah, we won today, but we have to come out with the same mentality what we did today, and we have to want it every pitch, every hit, everything. I mean, we just have to attack it from the beginning.
Awesome. Thank you. Back to Eric.
Thank you, Allison, and congratulations to the USF Bulls as they defeat the Memphis Tigers 6-0. For Allison Keim and our great crew at the American Digital Network, I'm Eric Lopez from Tampa, Florida. A final score one more time. It's the Bulls 6 and the Memphis Tigers 0. You've been watching American Conference Softball here on the American Digital Network. Defeat the Memphis Tigers 6-0. 6 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Bulls. No runs, 3.